Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to talk about communication with your twin flame. So if you are finding it challenging to have a communication with your twin flame, which means you are in contact, you can have a conversation with them. It's not like you are blocked, but whenever you are communicating and talking to them, you're finding it difficult to happen. Probably it might not work the way you want it. Okay. uh, Probably the agenda with which you were talking is not being met somehow. For example, if you are trying to align them to the conversation of getting into a relationship or marriage or anything, uh, and if it's not going the way you want, and it's it looks much more difficult than communicating with any other person, okay, then why is it happening? The reason behind is the journey is asking you to be authentic. And by that I mean not communicating or not being in your reality with uh, ego based agendas, the fear based agenda, the lack based agenda. For example, if you are getting pressurized from your family to get married, per se, and out of that pressure, instead of healing it within you and finding peace within yourself, you jump to your twin flame to ask them for marriage, what they have thought about it, and also now it's not like you don't need to ask your twin flame that when the marriage is going to happen, when are you getting married, and but the question, this act or this communication of talking to them is coming from a place of pressure which you got from your family, right? It didn't came from the peace, the good desire within you to be with your twin flame. Probably your intention of marriage is not the marriage, but to get rid of the pressure, family pressure you are getting into. So this is just an example. There are many such situations where you might communicate to them out of fear, lack, out of the bad stuff. Bad stuff is ego. Anything which is not doesn't feels good or divine is ego. So yeah, you need to, and that this is the reason where your twin flame uh, will mirror it. Your twin flame is connected to you from your heart. So, if this communication about the entire marriage scenario is coming from the place of pressure, since you're twin and you share the same soul, so they are also going to feel the pressure behind this entire communication. Doesn't matter uh, how good you frame it when you are, how good you portray it when you are communicating, because they are connected. They are understanding you not through your words, they are understanding you with the energy that is behind the word. And if the energy is of pressure, they will feel the pressure. But if there is a good feeling behind your words, which will come only when you have the desire that is coming from your heart and not from the external, this desire is going to have a good energies, so they are going to feel the same. And probably it might also happen that instead of you communicating to your twin flame will communicate the same thing to you. Instead of you taking initiative, they might end up taking initiative, because since you healed it within yourself, you brought peace. Now whatever the desire, once you heal your every block, you will find a desire within you, and this desire is divine, something that God has handcrafted in your soul, like it's etched in your soul. Like you are not meant to live alone in this world. God didn't want you to get into a monkhood. God didn't made anyone as a single person. So God has always made in pairs, right? Like you can see uh, every spiritual leaders or every spiritual god, you won't find them in singleness. You will always find them in pair. For example, Radha Krishna, then Shiv Parvati, then Jesus and Mother Mary. So yeah, you won't so God has prepared you in pairs. So now your twin flame is also have, you have that desire within your heart to not be single, instead be married or be in pair. And same goes with your twin flame. Your twin flame also wants that. The same, with the same desire they have been gifted with. So going back to the topic, like your communication should be coming from your heart, and that is what it means to communicate authentically, which means being you. But being you can also be misinterpreted as being the fear. For example, if I'm very angry with someone, and if I end up presenting my anger towards them behind this term being me, then it's not actually being me, because it's the ego, the illusion, the fear that needs to be healed, not uh, not transferred to people, not perpetuated to anyone else. Okay, being me means not being my ego. Being me means being my divine self, being how God handcrafted me. Okay, so yeah, so if you are, and if you are trying to find it you are finding it difficult to communicate with your twin flame, then yes, before you communicate, just check in your heart, is there any bad feeling within you? Try to heal that, and then you can, when you are, only when you are peaceful, go ahead with it. That is when you will see that it's going very smooth. And there will come a time when you have healed for a long period, and you will find that your communication, to communicate with your twin flame, is the most easiest thing. You must have experienced this many times. Like your twin flame feels like the best friend, feels like you can communicate each and everything from your heart, and it's the most easiest person to communicate with, because your core values align, you two are actually the same. So it's a very effortless thing to communicate with your twin flame when you are in your divinity. But when you're coming from ego, it gets multiplied and amplified, right? Because the ego coming that is within you is also within them. And that is why when you heal the ego within yourself, it automatically gets healed in their heart as well. So yeah, uh, and this is something that you will achieve, like communicating authentically from your heart will automatically come to you. It will become very natural as you keep healing, healing, and healing. And the reason behind is, like, we have seen a lot of bad times in this life, in many past lifetimes, right? So those programmings are still within us. So those fears are still within us. And out of this fear, we end up programming our mind that, okay, to keep myself safe, I will have to communicate in this particular way. Because if I don't communicate this particular way, then I will get vulnerable. I will have the chance of being uh, being attacked, being abused, being manipulated, being used. Okay. So yes, it's good to be intelligent about keeping yourself safe, but just know that out of this programming, this formula of talking in a certain way, communicating in a certain way, behaving in a certain way, who is trying to do that? It's the fear, that it's the programming, it's the bad stuff who is creating this formula, which is not letting our divine self to come out. So as you will keep healing, as you will, the ascension journey is going to anyway demand you to keep healing and healing. So as you will keep healing and healing, you will get to clear all this fear from within. And when it is not within you, then the divine self is something that you don't have to do something for. It doesn't need an effort, because you were made with the divine self and not the ego. So the divine self will naturally flow in your communication, in your behavior. You might not need any formula to be yourself. You might not fear, and it will be so easy and natural to just be yourself. And that is why you might have seen that twin flames, uh, they don't they don't fear something very easily. Specifically those people who are in this ascension journey, they don't care much about how people are going to interpret them. Okay, so yeah, and your twin flame will like it the most when you talk from your heart, when you live your life, not just talking. If when you live your life from your heart, you do whatever you want in the way in which God has crafted you, not from the ego. Your twin flame will reflect that, and they will enjoy you a lot, and they will be very much wanting to be with you. Okay, because you are trying to be yourself, means to be with yourself, and that will get mirrored by your twin flame, because he is an ultimate mirror or she is an ultimate mirror. So you don't have to worry about how I'm going to be authentic. If you try to be authentic from your mind, it will be difficult. The better idea is try to be authentic, but when you get triggered, heal it, so that you don't have to force yourself to be authentic. It's not, again, if you try to make a formula out of it, like I need to be authentic, I need to speak out my heart, then that won't be a very uh, easy thing. That won't be very effortless thing. You can't move in this journey with the divine concepts and creating a formula and trying to act like something, trying to do something from the place of knowledge. Okay, the ultimate knowledge will always be surrender. Surrender means surrender to your heart and let it guide you. Sometimes it might guide you to heal, sometimes it might ask you to just go on a walk. It could be anything. There is no formula in this journey. There is just one formula, which is just surrender to God and follow your good feeling and heal the bad feelings. So that's all for today. Please do subscribe my channel if you like my videos, and let me know in the comment section if you want me to create any video specific to your topic. Thank you so much.